morning student, welcome back to our physics class. In our last class we discussed the question of answer of measurement and physical quantity of page number 21. Check your progress. We discussed it and we also learn about the measurement of length. Today we learn about the measuring mass. So first we learn what is the mass. The amount of matter present in an object is called its mass. The amount of matter present in an object is called its mass. What is mass? The amount of matter present in an object is called its mass. We use the term mass in physics, but generally we use the word weight in everyday life to express the amount of matter. 1 kg potato. We are saying that the weight of 1 kg potato. We are not saying that mass of 1 kg potato. So when we ask 1 kg weight of vegetables from a vegetable vendor, we actually buy 1 kg mass of the vegetable. We are not buying the 1 kg weight. We are measuring the mass of the matter. The SI unit of mass is kilogram. So you mark the amount of matter present in an object is called its mass. Next, the SI unit of mass is kilogram. What is the SI unit of mass? Kg. The symbol is kg, small k, small g. The common submultiple units of mass are gram and milligram. These units are used to measure a small mass. Some multiples of kilogram are quintal and metric ton. Heavy mass are measured in quintals and metric tons. Devices uses to measure mass. Beam balance. What device we used for measure mass? Beam balance. A beam balance, tarazu, is the simple instrument used to measure mass. We measure mass by beam balance. In a beam balance, the mass of an object is measured by comparing it with a standard masses called standard weights. WEIGHTS. Here S is not weight, weights. A simple beam balance consists of a straight beam of metal, generally iron, supported at its center with the help of an iron loop. A pointer is fixed at the center of the iron loop. Two identical pans are suspended at equal distances from the center at the two ends of the beam. In your book, the figure of a beam balance is given. The object whose mass has to be measured is placed on one of the pans. Standard weights are placed on the left pan until the metallic beam balance horizontal and the pointer becomes vertical. The sum total of all the standard weights used gives the mass of the object. A beam balance works on the principle that when two bodies with equal mass are placed on two pans, they secure a state of horizontal balance of the beam. So how can we measure the mass of an object? We keep it in the left pan until the right pan's weights are not same or the pointer of the beam balance is not vertical. The arm of the beam is horizontal and the pointer is vertical. Then we are getting the accurate measurement. An accurate beam balance has the following features. Both the pans must be in equal mass. Both the arms must be of equal length. Both the pans must be suspended with strings of equal length of mass and mass. When the pans are empty, the beam should be horizontal and the pointer vertical. Nowadays, a variant of a traditional beam balance is used in the shop. There is no beam, only a pointer at the center. The pointer becomes vertical when the two pans have equal mass. These days, electronic weighing machines are also used for measurement of mass. These machines display the mass of the object directly on the LCD display panel. There is no need to have standard weights. Which standard weights we are using in ordinary beam balance? Here that is not required. In a science laboratory, accuracy of the utmost importance and other forces a modified and highly sensitive version of the beam balance called physical balance is used. Another modified and highly sensitive version of beam balance, which one is called physical balance, we used in the science laboratory. Take the help of your teacher to do the activity. If you want, you can do the activity. Collect a packet of crayons, a packet of pencil, a packet of biscuits and a bar of chocolate. Measure the mass of each of these items using a beam balance, Rosser's balance. Now we are not going to the schools, so I cannot show you these things, because in my home no beam balance is there. So next class we will discuss about the check your progress together. Today we start the measuring time. Time plays a very important role in our life. The SI unit used for the measurement of time is second. So mark it. What is the SI unit of time? The SI unit of time is second. Other common unit used for measuring time are minute, hour and mean solar day. Mean solar day is the time, mark it. Mean solar day is the time taken by the earth to make one complete rotation about its own axis. Mean solar day is the time taken by the earth to make one complete rotation about its own axis. The time of the day is measured in hours, minutes and seconds. In the commonly used 12-hour clock system, the day is divided into two 12-hour periods. The time between midnight and noon is indicated by writing AM. You know that things. After the time, whereas the time between the noon and midnight is indicated by writing PM after the time. So we know these things. Again we read. Devices for the time measurement. What device we used for measuring time? In ancient days, people measured time with the movements of the sun. They are seeing the sun, their sundial clock are there is. They are used that ones and they are measuring the time. The ancient Greek developed the sundial, which worked on the principle that the shadow of the rod placed in is changes the position and length with the position of the sun. A sand clock was another ancient device. A sand clock worked on the principle that a certain quantity of sand falls from its upper chamber to the lower chamber in a fixed amount of time. The Shamrat Yantar at the Yantar Mantar in New Delhi is actually a giant sundial. It is 70 feet high, 114 feet long at the base, and 10 feet thick. It has a 128 foot long, that means 39-meter hypotenuse that is parallel to the Earth's axis and points toward the North Pole. On other sides of the triangle is a quadrant with graduation indicating hours, minutes and seconds. Those who are going, they are able to see this Yantar Mantar. Nowadays we measure time with the help of a modern clocks and watches. Clocks are made in two distinct styles, mainly analogous clock and a digital clock. Nowadays we are using most of the time digital clock, but before few years we are using analogous clock. What is that one? The figure is given, the left hand side 3.17, that is the analogous clock figure. Analogous clock usually have a circular dial with a circular scale of 12 hours. The clock has 2 or 3 hands that are fixed at the center of the dial and can rotate about that fixed point. The time is read by reading the position of the tip of each hand. The 12-hour scale is also divided into a 60 minutes scale for the minute hand and a 60-second scale for the second hand, if any. Either there are 2 hands or 3 hands are there. If 2 hands are there, 1 hour hand, 1 minute hand. If 3 hands are there, second hands are also there. Digital clock. Figure number 3.18 given the picture of a digital clock. We are habituated with this clock. A digital clock directly displays the time as numbers. The time is displayed in hours and minutes or hours, minutes and seconds. Only 2 are maybe there or 3 are also maybe there. Time interval. The time interval is a definite duration of time between 2 given instants. It is defined, mark it. It is defined as the time elapsed between the given events. It is defined as the time elapsed between the given events. For example, in sports events or during experiments in laboratories, we used stopwatches or stop clocks to measure the time interval. They can be started and stopped at the beginning and the end of the event respectively. So we are using the events. When we are starting the events, we start the stopwatch or stop clock, or when we start the experiments, we start the stopwatch or stop clock, and when we complete the events, we stop it. It gives the time. Common clocks and watches measure a time interval of 1 second. The clocks and watches used in measure sports events measure time intervals of 1/10 or even 1/100th of a second. There are some special clocks that can be measured time interval of 1 millionth and 1 billionth of a second. 1 microsecond is 1 millionth of a second, and 1 nanosecond is 1 billionth of a second. These special clocks are used in scientific research. These are used in scientific research. Now we don't require that. 24-hour clock system. In this system, time is expressed as the number of hours and minutes that have passed since midnight. Time from 0000 to 1200 represents the period from morning to noon, that is AM. We know that. Time from 12 noon to 2400 represent the period of noon to midnight, that is PM. For example, 2:30 hours means 2:30 AM and 17 hours means 5 PM. How can we get 5 PM? 17 minus 12 we get 5, so it is 5 PM. Public facilities such as railway and airlines operate round the clock and thus use the 24 hours clock system. The main features of these systems are AM and PM are not used in order to avoid confusion. At the night or in the noon, AM and PM, sometimes we are confused. That is why they are not using that one 12-hour clock. They are using 24-hour clock. The time is shown by 4 digits. The first 2 digits indicate the number of hours and next 2 digits indicate the number of minutes. The hours and minutes are separated by a colon. Time is expressed continuously from 0000 midnight to 2400. The time 0000 and 2400 coincides with each other. That is at the midnight. It is coincides to each other. So to convert the following 12-hour time into 24-hour times, we are using some solution. What is that ones? 12:30 AM. What we are doing? 12:30 AM means 0030. 1:30 AM, that means 1:30. 4:20 PM. When the PM is there, then we add it with 12. That means 16:20. 9:45 PM. We add 12. That is 21:45. 12 PM. That is same PM, because we will get 00. Like this way, we can convert the 24-hour times into 12-hour times. We are using, when it is AM, we minus 12 and we are getting PM. So 6:30 AM means AM, but when it is 13:45, that means we minus 12, that means 1:45. 15:50 means 12, 3:50 PM. Like this way we can measure. AM, we know that one, 24-hour clock. So up to this, today we read. So today what we learn? We learn about the measurement of mass. What is mass? What instrument we use for measuring mass? What is the SI unit of mass? what is the SI unit of time, which type of clock we used for measuring time, the SI unit of time, the common unit of time, and in ancient time what instrument we are using. We learn these things today. So today up to this. Okay, bye bye.